No sport celebrates and cherishes stories like baseball. There are countless tales about the major leagues and the national pastime.
The luckiest man on the face of the earth.
But there remains an untold story. An all-American story of a league created out of necessity that would ultimately become a driving force for change. A league that didn't care what color you were or where you came from. The only thing that mattered was, can you play? And these men and women could absolutely play. By setting new standards and breaking barriers, they would change the game and this country forever. These are the legends. These are their stories. This is the Negro Leagues. At first base, from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, the legendary Walter Buck Leonard. Regarded by many as the greatest first baseman, not in Negro Leagues history, but in baseball history. He was compared to his contemporary Lou Gehrig, but believed to have even greater defensive abilities than Gehrig, and the old-timers in the Negro League say the greatest fastball hitter this sport has ever seen.
If you got the money, request is for the bucket. Come on, everybody, let's get with the fly mode. Still got room on the truck, load of black.
They say sneaking a fastball past Buck Leonard was like trying to sneak sunrise past the rooster. You couldn't do it. Consistently hit over 300, smooth left-handed swing, and was a dazzling fielder. Buck Leonard made plays that other first basemen just simply could not have made. They couldn't have gotten to him, and he made it look easy over what resulted in a Hall of Fame career.
Buck Leonard digging in now.
Count 1-0.
Two down, nobody on. That one ripped, and it stays fair. Base is empty, one away. We're here in the bottom of the fourth. That one lifted to left. Glass gets under it. Hauls it in for the out. Ball one there. In the air, right field, pretty well struck. See you later.
Most Negro League stars jump from team to team, but not Buck Leonard. He was a fixture with the Homestead Grays, and he was part of a dynamic tandem, perhaps the greatest tandem in baseball history, when he teamed up with the legendary Josh Gibson. They were called the Thunder Twins. Leonard was the lightning and Gibson was the thunder. Both of them reigned on a lot of parades in Negro League games. Leonard hitting line drives off the wall and over the wall, and Josh hitting tape-measured shots that some of them still haven't come down to this day.
Buck Leonard digging in for the first time in this one. High fly ball out of the left center field. Putout.
More than anyone else, Buck Leonard might have been the face of the Homestead Grays. Buck spent 17 straight years of his career with the Grays. That's the longest any Negro League player spent with a single franchise.
Swings and misses at the pitch off the plate. Going back to Buck's long tenure with Homestead, Chris, he brought so much success to the Grays. 9 straight years in the Negro National League Championship Series and 7 wins. Buck Leonard digging in now. Not close with that one, and that's ball 1. Wouldn't chase that time. That one's spoiled, and the count now 2-1. Leonard handles this one deep to right, way back there, and that one is off the wall. And they strike first as they take a 1-0 lead. Fall off foul. Two outs. There's a swing and a drive. That one is gone.
The late great Buck O'Neil would say in a game against the Kansas City Monarchs, and Satchel was on the mound, and he had thrown 3 or 4 consecutive off-speed pitches that Leonard, who was a left-hand line drive hitter, had ripped foul down the first base line. And he says Satchel decided he was going to try to sneak a fastball past Leonard. And Buck said Leonard hit the ball so hard that it ripped the webbing out of his glove. Buck calls time. He goes over to the mound. He said, hey, man, don't you throw him another fastball today. You gonna get me killed over here.
A matchup for the ages as Buck Leonard digs in against Satchel Paige. That's towards center. McDonald drifts towards it, drops into the glove, and that is that. Ground ball up the middle, and it finds its way through for a hit. Coming home. And he's in safely at third as a run scores on the play.
The ledger of winning for Buck Leonard was incredible. 10 league championships, 3 World Series titles, and 13 East-West All-Star Game appearances. Oh, he was special in a career that was as consistent as any player in baseball history.
Buck Leonard digging in now with the bases loaded and the winning run just 90 feet away. Bounding ball here, rolls foul. Swung on, belted. Smith going back. Across is the winning run, and they get a walk-off.
Buck Leonard was a true student of the game of baseball. And first base oftentimes was a position in the Negro Leagues where guys would put on a show. They gave you a little extra flair, but not Buck Leonard. Buck Leonard played the game with a mindset that was a little bit more serious than those guys who typically played first base. He always made the right play, always. And again, his range was second to none. He was a thinking man's baseball player.
And now it's going to be Monty Irvin. Gloves it on the dive. And that's the ball game. What a...
Well before Branch Rickey made the move to go get Jackie Robinson, Washington Senators owner Clark Griffith had tinkered with the notion of signing both Buck Leonard and Josh Gibson. But Griffith would later back off of this idea. The timing was right for Branch Rickey to make the move for Jackie Robinson. But in 1942, it was still a little early. And he already knew that the owners were certainly going to stand in solidarity and try to block this. The other side of the equation is he was also watching the Homestead Grays fill up Griffith Stadium. They were outdrawing the Washington Senators. Integration was going to put the Negro Leagues out of business. He didn't necessarily want to risk losing that revenue that he was generating from renting his ballpark to the Homestead Grays. And so after mulling over the impact and the repercussions, he backed off of the notion of signing Buck Leonard and Josh Gibson. This could have been well before Jackie Robinson.
Buck Leonard digging in here with runners at the corners. First pitch, not close.
You know, Boog, Washington owner Clark Griffith let Homestead buy equipment on the Senators' purchase orders so Homestead could get better gear. Buck Leonard used the same bat as Senators player Lynn Oakley. Buck was a way better hitter, though. Oakley never hit a single homer in the majors.
That one is absolutely belted. One runs in, and that one is up the top of the wall. In comes the run for second. It's 2-0.
Buck Leonard's skill set for a man who was well beyond his prime was absolutely amazing. In 1948, when he was 40 years old, he led the Negro Leagues with an amazing .395 batting average and slugged 42 home runs to win the home run title. He turned down an opportunity to go to the major leagues because he knew that he was beyond his prime. And even at the ripe old age of 45, he was still fielding major league offers, but refused them because he knew that he was not the ball player that he was. But I can tell you this, Buck Leonard at 45 was better than a lot of players in their prime.
I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long.
Buck Leonard digging in now. And there he goes. Pitch misses. Throw to second. Ow! And that'll end the inning. Here comes a pitch. Strike one.
0-1 for count.
Bounce to the right. O'Neill handles this one, and he handles it himself for the out. And the right-hander back to work. That misses the zone, and that is ball one. One now. And the right-hander deals. Inside, almost got him. Crushed it. You can't forget it. Buck Leonard with a massive home run.
Buck Leonard, one of the greatest hitters, one of the greatest fielding first basemen in baseball history, has a tremendous legacy of winning. He was part of so many great Homestead Grays teams, and he was the inspirational leader on all of those teams. He was a pillar of consistency, both on and off the field. One of the most likable players in the history of this sport. Even the opposing teams would never have anything disparaging to say about Buck Leonard. And it's only fitting that in 1972, Buck Leonard and his Thunder Twin teammate Josh Gibson would be voted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame together.